Hey everyone, Eric with Rockin H TV. Lately I've been watching Bruce Wilson's videos on how he's been rehabilitating some old cabovers, bringing them back to life. And I thought, what more fun could it be than to make one? So, since I know how to do 1/64 scale diecast, that's what we're going to do. Stay tuned to this series. We're going to go ahead and build this truck right here. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Stay tuned and let's get started. Okay, to make this truck, what we're going to need is one of these from Ertl. So if you go to eBay, somebody's toy box, anywhere you can find one of these, this is just the kind of cab we're going to start with. Now you'll notice it's got this windbreaker thing on top, and then the axle is set back. So in this project, what we'll do is we're going to remove some diecast here. We're going to move, we'll put this on a different frame. We're going to chop the top, and then we actually have to make this a lot shorter to make it look like Bruce's truck. So that's what we're going to do. First, we're going to start with removing the frame, and that is one screw in the bottom of the cab. If you don't want to save any of these parts, that's okay, because we will all we're going to really use is the cab. So all of this you can repurpose for another project if you so desire. Okay, next we'll go ahead and take the front end out. Now we're going to have to keep this piece, so make sure that this goes into a parts bin and it just snaps out. Then the interior comes out, and the windshield, the windscreen is, and all the interior cab glass is held in with this one rivet at the top. We're going to get to that in a moment. All these parts on the back here are held in place with plastic that is flattened out on the inside. What I like to do is we're going to go ahead and take that and just cut that stuff off, because it makes it easier to remove. I like to keep a sharp screwdriver around, and I just push those out like so. Now Bruce has custom exhaust in his, so we're not going to, you can keep the exhaust for other projects, but we're not going to reuse it on this project. I like to go ahead and keep different hand grabs and things, these plastic parts on, just because sometimes you can use them on other projects. So I'm going to go ahead and salvage that. And there's only that one. So then we'll go on the inside and get these. Looks like I may need to go ahead and remove that cab glass now. So we'll go ahead and get that out in just a second. There we go. I'm using a drill bit here. You could use some sort of grinding wheel on a Dremel to remove this. That would work as well, so you don't have to use a drill if you don't have one and you have a Dremel. There we go. When we go back to assemble, we're going to take and clean some of that up, but we'll not worry about that now. Now we can go ahead and pull these handlebars off. And I'm just pushing from the inside out, trying to keep them from breaking. Because when those pins are on, and you can put the pins back in the original holes, that just makes them a little stronger. So if you bump this thing on a shelf or something, then hopefully they don't break off, like if they were glued. Keep these if you so desire. They just push out because they're just glued in. Keep those if you like. I'm going to discard them when I get a chance. So these have to come off here because they aren't on the original truck. Then we have to make this a flat top, which isn't a big issue for us. Then we will need to cut the sleeper down, so we will cut along this back wall here. We'll cut that all the way off, and then we're going to cut some die cast out here and then slide the whole thing forward to make. So we're going to cut these off for sure. Then we're going to cut the back wall along this edge, and then we're going to move this forward. I'm not exactly sure how long this cab is from the front to the rear, so I'm going to go. So we'll have to eyeball that a little bit and figure out how we want to go about that. But to begin, we're going to go ahead and cut these off. So I didn't cut that clean enough right there, which isn't a problem. You can use a file. If you don't have a power tool, you can use a file and just file that down until these edges are flush. I'm going to go ahead and use my sander to clean that up. So here I went ahead and cleaned all that off, made it nice and flush. We're going to go ahead and fill those holes in as well because we're not going to reuse those. And then we'll fill in this little hole here and that one there. And we'll make this all nice and closed off and look real pretty. Next, we're going to cut the back wall out. And what we're going to do is follow the line just right along this die cast line. Then we'll marry those two pieces together once we've moved it forward. So we'll go ahead and let that chill. It's pretty hot right now, so I'll come back and finish file, or maybe even use a Dremel to clean the rest of that up and get it all smooth and polished. What we'll finish in this video doing is cutting off the top, and then I'm going to have to come in and somewhere I'm going to have to find some literature or whatever to see what the cab size is from the front to the back, so I know how much of this to take off. But we can go ahead and cut the top off and clean the top of the cab up. So we'll get that done. So my blade is getting actually kind of dull here, so I think what we'll do is we'll finish cutting that off with my Dremel, and then we can use the sander here to go ahead and clean the top of the cab up. Okay, we'll let that cool off for just a moment. So, and then obviously we're going to be cutting this off too, so this is what we're going to end up with. But this cab is way too wide for what it needs to be. Okay, that's what we got for now.